Hello, everybody. We are speaking via Skype with Davide Biocchi, trader from Directa. Hello, Davide.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Are you fine?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Yes, really. Unfortunately, today is a rainy day around me here in Italy, but okay, the temperature is quite high, so okay, we are waiting for the Christmas.
Yes, and waiting for the Christmas, and also the whole December is the time we are looking at the year, and we are wondering, was it a good year or bad year? What was the most important things we can describe our viewers about 2019?
Yes, okay. Well, first of all, the year 2019 was the year of, we have four, let me say, big market movers during this year. The first one was the trading war. Okay, the trade war is a war that went through China and US, and it impacted a lot the stocks market and also the bonds market and everything. Okay, so the financial world in general, as same as the economic world in general, were a lot impacted by that. Then we have a second thing that took place in Europe. That was the fact that the Brexit became reality at the end, because we are very close after the last UK election day. We are very close to deliver a Brexit. Okay, we expect it until the end of January. Then it was also for Europe the year of the very big difficulties of Germany, okay? Because Germany had a lot of difficulties. Imagine that the PMI, so the Purchasing Manager Index for the manufacturing, let me say, went so down that it was very close to 40. The minimum was 41 and something, but it's really terrible. It was the worst PMI that we have in Europe in the bigger countries. Okay, so that was really relevant. And at the end, it was also the year of the central banks. I mean, the Federal Reserve on one side and the ECB with Mario Draghi leaving the place for the Lagarde recently. They really impacted a lot with their decision the market through this year. Imagine some decisions from Draghi to postpone the QE, okay, or some cuts in interest rates done by Powell in US. So these four situations were the most important ones. So the trade war, the Brexit in Europe, difficulties of a big manufacturer country like Germany, and at the end, the central banks. So these are, and more or less, I think that this will be the same themes that we will see again in 2020. Exactly, we will have a Brexit and we will see, okay? But then we will have chapter 2, so phase number 2 on the trade war, okay? And again, the Germany has to recover, and we will see if they will be able to. And finally, the central bank will still be, especially with the Christine Lagarde in Europe, will still be on the top as market movers for the 2020.
I am wondering, does any of these elements would end in 2019? For example, we can say, okay, there is a deal between United States and China, and so it could be end of trade war. But on the other side, do you really think this is over, Davide?
No, because this was the end of phase number 1. But then they will soon start phase number 2, that is more technical and probably also more complicated to go through. Imagine that all the things that you know under the business of Huawei and something like that, all these things will be under the agreement of chapter 2, I mean phase number 2 of the trade war. So trade number 1 was probably arrived to the end, but phase number 2 will be even more complicated. And let's assume that this phase number 2 will find an end probably very close to the US election 2020, November 2020, because it will be some kind of information that will be used also for electoral purposes.
Okay, so in this 2020, we will have the election in the United States, and probably Donald Trump. We are not sure who will be the next president, but we know that Donald Trump will be in these elections. He wants to be on the he wants second time be a president of the United States of America. And do you think he will try to use this trade war and to be, to become as an alpha male in this, trade war to become, to become more popular in the United States than already he is?
Well, we have seen this is story. We have seen that one of his best skills are connected to the use of social media and to the use of, let me say, communicating all the news to his people. Okay, so I think that he will work for the, let me say, for the U.S. in general, but it's not the same if you tell people about some news today or tomorrow. And if it will be more useful for him to do it tomorrow, he will do tomorrow. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but this will be the way he will use this kind of communication. And he is, let me say, a master in it. So it's something that we can expect. Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's go back to the Europe. You
Yes.
told about Brexit. 2020, do you think the January will be the end of the Brexit case? So it will be like, okay, there is a deal, now it will be over, and okay, we're starting a new era of of European Union without United Kingdom? Or do you think that maybe there will be some more of this story?
Well, in my opinion, Boris Johnson already had an agreement with the UE. Okay. Uh, uh, Let me say that in a certain way, the problem was that he didn't have the numbers in the chambers to go through, okay? But now they had the numbers, they already had the agreement, so I don't know if they have to fix something, but I don't think, and they will go for a Brexit. I think that this is the best thing for everyone, okay? Having a Brexit with a deal is something that it's really relevant, not only for UK, but for the whole Europe on the other side. And what we will see later is if the UK will have some difficulties after the Brexit, and what will happen to Germany, that, in my opinion, went so down, especially in the expectations of the purchasing managers, because of the efforts that the very important, let me say, good consuming of good that they have selling, for example, cars in UK, will have some impacts in their economy or not. We will see.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me, Davide, are you observing the FTSE index? What?
Well,
Yes, yes, yes. You are.
well, I am observing, and I can see that. Well, what happened was that a lot of financial companies they left London to find some to headquarter themselves in a different cities, maybe Paris, maybe Frankfurt, maybe Warsaw itself. Okay, some of them decided to move to Europe, and there was also some, let me say, cash out. Okay, from the London market, and money came back to Europe. So this is really important. So the possibility that the FTSE can recover a little after the Brexit is there, but the problem will be also connected to the pound. The pound was very strong recently, was able to overtake two resistance with the against the dollars and two supports against the euro. But at the end, there was finally in the last days a reaction. So we had it a little bit weaker. The pound was a little bit weaker, both with the euro and with the dollar. So we will see the next year. And I don't know, it depends because they need to attract capitals from outside. And we know also that the British economy is based on finance in general, really a lot, because they don't have such a big manufacturer inside. And so I think that this is the real thing that Boris Johnson must, let me say, must be able to face after the Brexit.
So there is a probability that FTSE will go up, but the pound will be weaker, right?
Exactly. This is a problem. So this is what investor will look at before investing there. So because if even the market will raise, but they will have an impact, a negative impact because of the exchange, maybe people will not be so happy. So this is something that we will see. We cannot anticipate it. We need to wait if the Brexit and when will happen, definitely. If the present agreement will be considered, let me say, the best one and will be applicable, and then we will see what will happen. So in this case, it's better not to anticipate because we have no experience. We never had something like a Brexit in Europe, so we don't know real effects what they will be. We know that in case of hard Brexit, the problems would have been so much. But in this case, we do not know, and we have to wait.
So Brexit will be in Europe just the one big question mark, right? What happened
Well,
now?
it is definitely. It is not perceived as a big risk as it was before, especially if, let me say, the investors were, let me say, thinking about the possibility of a hard Brexit. But we will not have an hard Brexit. We have an agreement, we have a deal, and when you have a deal, the things are going probably better. But as told, we don't have experience on it, so we will see in the future.
Okay. Thank you very much, Davide. Wish you all the best in New Year and also Merry Christmas.
Okay, thank you to you too, and also to the people that are watching us. Merry Christmas to everyone, and see you soon.
Yes. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Davide Biocchi from Directa.